Hey everyone, welcome to this live session on how to motivate kids to study. I'm your host, Samina Sen. I'm a counseling psychologist and I deal mainly with parents and children. Now, before we go ahead with the topic, I would like to thank FirstCry Intelli for giving me this opportunity to come and share my experience and knowledge with you. So, without any further ado, let's begin. To begin with, I would like to share something I read this morning. Now, every parent is a teacher, and as a teacher, you possess tremendous power to make a child's life miserable or joyous. You can be a tool of torture or an instrument of inspiration. You can humiliate or humor. You could hurt or heal. In all cases, it is your response that decides whether a situation will be escalated or de escalated, or a child will be humanized or dehumanized. Now, in all this bargain, what I understood is the main important question lies in what is your role as a parent? What is your role as a parent? Now, I get very different answers when I ask my clients about what is their role as parents. Some say it is to guide them, to give them security, to protect them, to provide for them. All these are beautiful answers. But I rarely get the answer I want. That is to love them. It is so important to love your child. That is your role as a parent, no matter what. Even if she doesn't study, even if she doesn't listen, even if she or he doesn't follow instructions, it is your job as a parent to love them, no matter what, and to tell this to them every single day. I love you. I will always love you, no matter what. Even if you make a mistake, I will still love you. Because unconditional love is the basis of trust. And trust is the only prerequisite to your journey to motivate your kids to study. Because your child will cooperate with you only if she trusts you. Now, if we are clear with this basis, we can begin our journey of learning how to motivate kids to study. So you have built the trust and you have made your child know how much you love them and you will always love them. So when your child has these two tools with him, these two tools will definitely help you motivate them and them to cooperate in that motivation. So how to motivate our kids to study? Let us first understand what is motivation. Motivation is a process that in the that initiates, guides, and maintains the goal-oriented behaviors. Be it just going and getting a glass of water for yourself. That is the goal, and the motivation that will drive you to go and get it for yourself is the behavior. Therefore, it is very important to number one, remember to set short term and long term goals for your children. Goals should be set realistically. Okay, now not every child is, extremely intelligent or extremely fast in writing or extremely good in reading. So you should judge that pace of your child and set goals realistically. So goals should be realistic. At the same time, it should be according to the child's age and capacity. Now, in order to set a realistic goal, you need to observe two things. One, where is your child lacking and what are his or her strengths? Number two, what is your child's learning style? Now, as you know, everyone on this earth is unique. I am unique to myself. My children are unique to them. My husband must be unique to him. Everybody is unique, and therefore, some children some children read and write better. Some children can listen and understand better. So it depends on what is your child's learning style. Every child has different learning styles. So some children, like I said, like to study orally, some like to write. So accordingly, set a schedule where you can start with something that your child likes doing. and gradually move to the challenging part. And do not involve your and make sure that you do involve your children in the goal setting process. Some people avoid that and say that, nahi karega, he will not get involved. But if you allow him to add those changes, to add that value to that schedule, be it an easygoing schedule or according to the child will definitely feel responsible in the end to complete the task. If you set the task for the child may not be motivated to complete it, right? So you can set a schedule which is a little customized according to the need of the child. So many parents come to me and tell me that, we made a chart and we made a schedule together, but things didn't work out and we couldn't follow through. So probably there is some problem, something lacking in the schedule itself. So do not worry, just redesign a more relaxed schedule where there are more breaks and less stress. Because see, if you stress your child too much as it is, it's not going to work. If you run your car for more than it is designed to, it will break down, right? So you need to understand the pace of your child and design a schedule where it is a more easygoing schedule for the beginning. Like for example, initially, if your child is not able to go through your schedule, that means that there is some issue with the schedule. Try to define a more easygoing schedule. Let the child first get used to that environment of following the schedule, and then eventually you keep on upgrading the schedule according to the success rate of your schedule. But just be a little more clinging to the fact that it should be customized to your child's need. So don't take higher jumps. Try to take baby steps and slowly and gradually keep increasing the levels. Now, um, a realistic schedule, okay, a realistic schedule collaborated with rewards and punishment can work wonderfully. A realistic schedule with rewards and punishment can work wonderfully if you, as a parent, can develop a mindset that has patience. So, for all of this to work, you need to develop a good amount of patience along with perseverance and persistence. So I know as parents, sometimes even we get tired of following that schedule and we, for a day or two, think that it's okay, we'll do it tomorrow. So children tend to take advantage of that. So that is why I'm stressing on making really simple schedules which will not disturb your schedule also. And also it's okay to relax a bit and, take it from where you left. You can always keep trying. So remember, like motivation is a continuous process. It is not like आपने एक दिन किया and then the next day you expect them to do their job because you motivated them yesterday. You gave them a pep talk yesterday, so today also they're going to do the same thing. No, they might disappoint you. It happens with me all the time. So just when I think that it's done, I have done my job, the next moment there's a new challenge for me ready. So this is just how children work. It's not a one day job. Like children forget, what they were told yesterday, they forget very easily. So you need to keep reminding them again and again and again, like a tape recorder, with patience, perseverance, and persistence. So continuity is very important in motivating children to study. And like how many parents tell me that बहुत पीछे पढ़ना पड़ता है तब वो पढ़ती है या पढ़ता है. So that's okay ना. They are children, that's okay. आपको पीछे ही पढ़ना है. That means you have to continuously condition them to do something. This will help them, right? So but when you keep on saying, that doesn't affect them so much. Whereas if you, whatever they see, they imbibe better. So if you can, if it is possible for you, you can sit with books and do a role model kind of thing where you are in order to motivate them to study, you too can be a role model and sit with them with some book, read a book, write a journal, and that will help you also. Writing a journal helps quite a lot, and show them you too are passionate about studies. And books and are not at all, and books are not at all that bad. So this is a good way where you yourself, when you take your kids to study and they sit down with them and to motivate them, you can take your books and just, probably journal something and write something and read something. And that will also give you a break from the phone. So another very important point is that you set a time for studies and study at the same time daily, because children have that capacity of trying to mess with the study time. And in order to maintain that the study time is not disturbed, you need to maintain a diary or a schedule where you are studying at the same time every single day, and create a productive environment before you sit. Like, what is a productive environment? An environment where you have to have a specific time to study. You have to have a specific place to study, where there is, if you can manage, then keep the distractions at bay. Like, the distractions should be minimal, and start with, like, all the toys and all that from beforehand. You should be cleaning that space of study and putting all the toys away so that they can concentrate. Because no matter how much you say, you turn blue in your face telling the child to sit and concentrate, the child will not concentrate if there is even one single Lego piece kept in the room. So I know it is a lot of work, but initially you'll have to do that. Slowly and steadily they'll get used to that. If you set a time, they'll get used to studying at that time. If you set up this space, even if you don't clean it later, they will still not get distracted when they are conditioned to do it. But initially you'll have to take that extra step. So um yeah, so I was saying that you have to create a productive environment, keep the distractions at bay, and start with appreciating your child. So, like, when a parent sits to make the child study, what they do is keep screaming, come, come, study, study, it's study time, come. Yeah, even I do that at times when I'm too tired. But I make it a point to do this very important magical trick that I'm going to tell you, and it does work, especially with younger kids. It definitely works, and with older kids too. Yeah. So, the magical trick that I'm going to talk about is appreciating your child. Start with appreciating your child. You can make use of different affirmations. Now, some of you must have heard what affirmations are, and some of you must have, heard this for the first time. The affirmations is a very important technique to motivate your child. If your child is young, you can say these affirmations to them. And if you have an older child, then they can self-motivate by repeating these affirmations every single day before studies. Now, I can do a whole new session on the power of affirmations, but I'll tell you in short. Affirmations are short sentences, okay? They are positive sentences that directly work on your subconscious mind. So later they tend to become your reality. Your mind starts to believe them. So basically, if I keep telling you something, your mind accepts the reality, and you try to internalize that. या इसलिए बोलते हैं कि बच्चों को नेगेटिव मत बोलो. I know as parents it is a very difficult job when you're staying with them 24/7, and the way they try to their all the things that the children do, especially children these days, are quite hyperactive. So it is very difficult to be positive all the time. And still, I will request that you should maintain a balance. How much ever you can, try to stay positive and say good things to your children. This reminds me of a story. I'm sure most of you must have heard that there were a couple of frogs and they were trying to jump a really high wall. And people from the behind kept on telling them that you will not be able to jump the wall is too high, you will not be able to jump. So all the frogs stopped trying, but there was one frog who could jump the wall and go on the other side. So when people asked the frog that how could you do it, how could you jump such a high wall, so then they later came to know that the frog was deaf and the frog couldn't hear. So basically, just because those people kept on telling him that, you cannot, others gave up. He did not because he couldn't hear what they were saying. So this is similarly, positive affirmations really work really well when you keep telling the child good things and positive things. Like, so you can begin every day before study time, you can start saying affirmations like, you can do anything. I believe in you and your abilities. You are getting better every single day. I love you even if you make mistakes. So these are just a few affirmations that you can start with. So this gives like like a energy boost, like a turbo boost to the child, and they feel that oh, I'm in an environment where I'm loved, where this person who's going to teach me believes in me. So this is very important, and you have to say it in a very believing manner. And you can use these affirmations with yourself too, and to be more patient with the children. And you can ask the older kids to repeat these affirmations on their own. This will really enhance and motivate them, boost their self-esteem, and help them to study better. So because we have limited time, I can't talk much about affirmations. But for those of you who want to know more about affirmations and how to use affirmations, how to frame affirmations, you can contact me on my number, on my official number, that is 9821 369 217. I repeat, 9821 369 217. So basically, we have a parents group in which I keep on sending these daily affirmations, which can help you. So you can definitely send me a hi, and I will start sending you daily affirmations, which you can tell your children about. Okay. Also, you can, indulge in fun conversations with them. So keep telling them about the advantages and disadvantages of studies in a fun way. If you have children age 5 to 7 or younger, so they are really inclined towards superheroes, they are really inclined towards Barbies and, these castles and these stories, these fantasy stories. So I don't have a girl, so I don't know about a story about the Barbie, but definitely I have two boys who I speak to about superheroes, and they have a lot of knowledge about superheroes. So I use this to my benefit, and I say, Iron Man is a scientist. Do you know that? So it's like, yeah, I know. And I said, he created his own suit, and that suit, and then they gave me some knowledge about how that suit is waterproof and I don't know what not. And then I said, but he studied so much to become that scientist, and then he eventually became a superhero. So so this kind of really drove them, that, oh, even I want to become a scientist. I said, but if you want to become a scientist, then you have to study. You have to know how to read and learn, and then read and write, and then only you will be able to grow old and, become a scientist, and then you can, make these superhero suits, and then finally you can fly. So all these things really motivate young kids where their mind are so fragile. They can definitely soak in so much of information. So all these small superhero stories or some Barbie stories you can make up, and then this will stick in their head. Definitely they'll forget the next day. So remind them again and keep reminding and keep reminding. So this is a process, like I said. Now, it's important to talk and explain, but what's more important is to listen and empathize. Listen to them, understand their issues, and assure them that every problem has a solution. It is important for us to understand that learning is a process, and it's because it's rather than the outcome, you should concentrate on the process, make it an enjoyable process for them. Kids should love learning because that's what's going to stick with them for so long, because that's what's going to stick with them, and not the outcome, like the grades of grade 2. What did my child get in grade 2 or grade 3 or grade 4 is not going to be with them throughout their life. But what's going to be is if my child has learned and internalized whatever he is learning. I know grades are important too, but learning is more important. So it is important to understand that learning is a process and let the child enjoy the process. Focus on the learning, like turn everyday events into a learning activity, and the outcome will eventually follow. And it will obviously be good. When the child is learning so well, it's going to be good. The outcome will definitely be good. So, for example, like with my kids, they are learning plants in school. They are learning in the topic plants. So whenever we go down in the society for a stroll, I show them and ask them about plants. So they tell me that, okay, this is a climber, this is a shrub, this is a. So I have been learning from them also. There is a lot of knowledge that they listen and they keep in their mind. And when you turn everyday activities into learning, it's a give and take process where you learn something from them, they learn from you. So keep that process on. So fun learning will always be with them throughout their lives. Similarly, I used to use this story technique. The story technique works wonderfully with children who like to, visualize or like to listen to. Okay, I'm getting some questions too. I'll be answering all your questions after I finish my session. Yeah. So I was saying about the story technique, right? So I use this story technique at bedtime, where if, for example, I have to teach my son the table of two. So how will I do it? Okay. Firstly, a sing-song manner always works. Two ones are two, two twos are four. This always works. Make it the worst tune ever, and they will listen and remember. So add a tune. This is one more tip. This will definitely work because it really stimulates the auditory system of the child. Yeah, what I use is I definitely use this rhyming technique also, but I use the story technique, which I was supposed to discuss right now. That is, I make it into like a story. If I'm teaching a table of two, how will I do it? That, there was a boy named Two, and he loved swimming. So he used to go and dive in the pool. So first day when he dived one time, he came out to be number two only. But the next day, the second time when he dived into the pool, he came out to be number four, magically. Then the third time when he dived, number three time, he came out to be six. So this is how, I kept on saying the story to them every single day. And then one fine day, they, grasped the story so well, and they were able to say the table too. So this is something which I have tried and tested. So everybody is very creative. So create something, customize something for your child. Just know where they are lacking, and form some, magical formula for them, and they will definitely grasp it really well. So even for A to Z, when I was teaching my younger one, he was writing, where they give the school people, they give one entire page of A's and one entire page of B's, and children get so bored to finish that entire page. So what I devised a story which I will do and show. So if they have to do an entire page of A, how will you make them do? I used to make a house here and make an A here. Okay. And then I used to tell my son that all these that you're making are the children of A. And Sher aa raha hai, there's a tiger coming, and you have to take all the kids fast, quickly to Mama A. So my child used to get so scared that, literally the tiger is coming and going to eat each A up. And that's the reason why he used to quickly write, that okay, sher aa raha hai, mama sher aa raha hai. And then he used to write the entire A fast and take all the A's, all the children A to Mama A in the house safely. So these are just some tips and tricks. You have to be kiddish, you have to be a little kiddish and childish to come to their level to understand how their psyche works and, help them in their way. If you keep on telling them, bada okay, tujhe pilot banna hai, tuj kya banega, and all, that's not going to help them basically. That they don't have that kind of maturity to understand right now. I have known so many parents who come to me and say, we tell our kids that, you have to grow up and become something big, you have to earn, you have to take care of us. I said, how old is your child? So say 5 years old. I said a 5-year-old is not going to understand that he has to grow up and take care of you. So you have to work according to the age of the child, the maturity. Even if the age is older, you have to work according to the maturity. Remember your days. I say I have not yet achieved wisdom. I still think like a child sometimes, and everybody, we somewhere have a child inside us. So don't let your inner child also die, and try to get it out with your children. Enjoy this time. It's not going to stay for too long. Okay, so coming back to the topic, um, you can also use different stationaries to motivate them to write faster. Like, if you are giving them practice, I'm not talking about school books, but if you're giving them practice, so try and use different stationaries, those magic slates also that come. And, like I said, the learning process is important and not the outcome. Of course, the outcome is also important, but not as important as the learning process. The child should internalize and remember whatever they are learning. So, and also, I would say that you should also help them out if they get stuck. Some children get scared to start studying. If you help them, it will really, motivate them to continue. Like some parents are really strict and they say, बातें तो इतनी बड़ी बड़ी करता है and you can't write this also, the spelling of and you don't know. Maybe the child has forgotten, maybe the child doesn't know the spelling of and. So don't pester him on that topic, right, that he doesn't remember the spelling. It's okay, it's just a child. You can make him study again, you can make him or her write it again, learn it again. It is not common sense. Please understand, common sense is not something which we can use with children, because they at one point of time they must be talking such big things, because they just listen what the elders are saying and repeat and try to and fit them in that situation. They're very good at it. So there must be times when they are talking such big things, and you must be thinking that their maturity level is quite high, like an adult. But but in the end, they are children. They will definitely make mistakes and they will forget. That is, their brain is not yet developed completely. So don't expect too much out of them. So if the child is getting scared, you have to observe that. So if your child, सिर्फ ये बोलने से नहीं होगा कि मेरा बच्चा पढ़ता नहीं है. You have to observe, is he getting scared to start studying? So initially you help him. Initially you can, take his hand and write, and initially you could, the child will not take advantage. Trust me, they will not take advantage if you convey to them that, I am helping you because I want you to continue writing. Initially I'm going to help you, then you have to do your part, because in the end you are learning. I have done all of this in my childhood, now it is your time to do. So they will then push themselves and move further, right? So helping is not a bad thing. Please, parents, understand that you need to help your child. Even if it is the most common thing and they've done it n number of times, still there is no harm in helping. Now, another important part of the child's psyche is to please others. See, we as adults also, try to please others and live our lives according to others, how they expect. And, we do certain things. We buy new clothes and we expect others to say, wow, kya kapde pehne hai? And, we buy new stuff and new gadgets and we want others to see, isn't it? So it's a child's psyche also to please others. So we can use that social motivation to our benefit where you can ask others in the family to motivate him or her, your child, with words, with actions, for, sorry, I just got a little distracted. There are some questions coming up. Okay, so um, many questions. I'll just try to finish this fast so I can take questions. Okay, so you can use your family members to motivate him, and their actions and their words, they can really motivate him. Like, if your child has written something nice, you can show it to others, and, they can probably send in good words for him or her, and they can, So it's basically, I'm giving you this tip, and it's a very important tip. You need to understand that it is very important to ask for help. Okay, battles are not won alone. So so ask for help. Remember, it takes a village to raise a child. Okay, it is not a one man's job. Definitely there are single mothers, single fathers, single parents who are taking care of the child, but there is no harm in asking for help. Okay, lastly, I would say there are three don'ts that you need to remember that you shouldn't be doing. Okay, consciously make an effort. Even after this, if you end up doing this, it's okay, but consciously just try to avoid these three don'ts that I'm going to tell you. Yeah. So, the three don'ts that I'm going to tell you is don't compare your kids to other kids. I know it is very difficult not to do that, but every child has their own unique capabilities and each child works at their own pace. So if you keep telling your child, see, your friend is doing so well, see, he got A, see, you got C, see, it is just not going to help motivate the child. No. So please stop comparing your kids to other kids. It is just going to do you harm and no good at all. So, try to control that. Don't compare your kids with other kids. Second, don't I would say is don't compare your own success or failures to your child's. They are a separate entity and they will have their own journey. Okay, now some parents come to me and say that, oh, I'm a CA, my wife is a doctor, and see our son, he doesn't even know how to write, and he's failing in his class and everything. So he's a separate entity, just because he's your son or she's your daughter, that doesn't mean that your journey is going to be his journey. Your destiny is going to be his destiny. You never know what that child will become when he grows up or she grows up. We have had excellent examples of all the people, successful people in this world who were dropouts and who were, uh, dyslexic or they had other learning disabilities, but they did manage to be so successful. They turned the world around. So, if not that, at least they will sustain and they will have their own success and failures and they will have their own journey. Just treat them like a separate entity and not something, don't pressurize them and put your burden on them. You didn't deserve to get the burden from your parents and neither does your child. So remember that. Okay, don't compare your success or your failure to your child's. The third don't that I will say is don't try to find your success in your child. Okay, there's a difference. Now, I'm talking about successful parents also who try to compare their success के मेरा बेटा होते हुए कैसे ये कर सकता है, how can my child be this way? That is separate. And one is that मैं ये नहीं कर पाया तो मैं चाहता हूँ मेरा बच्चा करे, या मैं चाहती हूँ मैं ये नहीं बन पाई तो मेरा बच्चा बने. This is so unfair, na? This is so unfair on the child. The child can be better than you. The child can be, somewhere average. Whatever it is his own life and his journey, which he will find out once he, goes through life. So don't try to find that, just adds extra burden on the child. Okay. Of course, to motivate them to do the best, to motivate them to do the best, uh, they can say at intervals, you can slightly put in these things because I talk very straightforward. I just don't believe in theories, but I do apply these theories to my life, and I see how much they are workable, right? So just don't blindly believe whatever everyone is saying. Try to work it out on your own too. So of course motivate them to do the best they can, but don't compare and imagine, don't compare and just imagine that you are constantly being compared to your sibling or your neighbor or your relative or somebody else, and will that motivate you? Just give it a thought. Just put yourself in your child's shoe, and for a second just think that your husband is comparing you to the neighbor's wife and saying that oh, she cooks so well, her dishes are so good, and you don't cook at all, and you don't cook nicely. So even if the efforts that you're putting in, you think it's going to motivate you to do better, uh, एक आध बार बोल दिया and that might motivate you. But if you're constantly penalizing your child ke your friends are better than you, your sibling is better than you, your cousins are better than you, so that will not motivate the child. That will actually stop them from the growth and stop them from doing what they were doing, and also they will stop achieving what they've already achieved. They will not want to move further. So you have to set in a growth mindset instead of uh, you know, um, a mindset which is not quite encouraging or demotivating. Okay, so I think with this I come to the end of my session. I'll be answering, and yes, one more thing I would like to say that whatever I have discussed in this session, I personally have been trying all these tips and tricks, and it works. It definitely works with my clients, also with my own kids, also, and with all the parents that I have given these tips to. I have got a very positive feedback. But I remember there was one child which was really difficult to handle. I mean, that child gave us a tough time. Um, we tried everything under the sun with that child, and it was impossible to get him to study and write. So I discussed this case with some of my colleagues also, and then we finally came to a decision that lastly, if you've tried everything and still everything failed, then try giving up for some time. Yes, you heard it right. Try giving up for some time. Take a back seat for some days and let go. The child will definitely bounce back. And this happened, and we gave it a shot. It was quite a risky thing to do because he missed quite a lot of his studies also in the meanwhile. But that mother was constantly behind his back, and constantly everyone, even the family, the mother, the father, everyone was just talking about and pestering him for studies. And finally, after we tried counseling with him also, and when nothing worked, then we decided to take a back seat for some time. And for a good amount of days, I think a week or so, we gave him absolutely no stress about studies, and we did not take this topic out. Usne jitna kiya, we left him on his own. And suddenly, after 7 to 8 days, he started showing interest in studies. He started, this is a real life case I'm sharing with you. He did start showing improvement, and he started with a very shabby handwriting, and then slowly and steadily I started counseling him and also taking up, his other emotional problems that he was going through. And with counseling and with a little bit of persistent study time that we had set for him, he was able to start studying, and his handwriting improved and everything fell in place. It is still in process. I will not say we have reached 100%, but I'm sharing this case with you so that you have hope that every problem has a solution. Nothing is impossible. So if you work persistently, you can achieve a goal which is set for your child. So the first thing is that if you cannot set a goal and you cannot understand the child and observe the child's learning style, please visit a counselor, a psychologist, and try to, they will figure it out with you according to your child. They will focus on your child and figure out a custom plan for him, a custom schedule for him, set goals for him, and help him achieve those goals. And with time, definitely everything will get solved. So, I think I will be taking some questions. Okay, so this question is from Navneet Kaur. Hi, my son is 28 months old. Due to pandemic period, play schools will not be open this year. Should I start doing things like play school at home only? I want my kid to learn and explore new things. See, sending the child to a school, even if there was no pandemic, sending a child to a school, a play school, is completely a parent's choice. It depends whether you want to start early education or you want to educate the child at home. So definitely, I would suggest that if you have time, as this is a pandemic and the schools are off, if you have the time and you have the resources where you can, we have Google, we have YouTube, we have all these places where we can find so many activities for kids. So if you have the time, so the best person to teach a child is the mother, is the father. It is your parents who can teach you with utmost sincerity. So I will suggest that if you have the time, you can go ahead and teach him or her. It is your son, right? You can teach him in the house itself. And definitely all the best. Okay, Komal P has said, "Hello, my child is 5 years and he does not sit for studies. It's a struggle for me to make him study. He gets distracted easily in his online classes. How do I make him attentive and make him study?" Another similar question I've got from Shilpa Nuthalapati. My child is intelligent but very distractive. He gets attracted towards other things happening around him and gets off from studies. Any suggestion, ma'am? He is 6 years old. Ma'am, how can I improve his concentration level? Let me see if I have other questions which are similar. Okay. Sushru, Sushruta, I hope I'm taking your name correctly. I'm sorry if I'm not. Says, my child shows interest in studies for a few minutes, then he stops giving answers and shows least interested. He is 4 years old. What shall be done to hold his interest? See, I think I have covered most of this in my session, but I will still repeat a few points. Firstly, set a study time so your child knows that if you have if you have set a study time at 6 p.m., so start telling your child since morning that I am letting you watch TV because you have to study at 6 p.m. I am letting you eat this chocolate because you have to study. See, some children work this way that उनको पहले दो and फिर वो काम करेंगे. Or some children work this way that you first get the work done and then give them a reward. So both ways, whatever is working, like for my son, what works is first you give him whatever he is asking for. Definitely, we don't give him all the time whatever he's asking for, but if it is manageable, we do give him. And then sometimes we bargain with him also that first you study and then we will give him. So sometimes we understand, sometimes he understands. So it's like a give and take relationship, that like I said. So firstly, set a study time. If your child is following through, that you give him the chocolate and then he is studying at 6 o'clock, then you can follow it later also in the coming days. But if your child is not following through, and after having that chocolate also your child is not studying at 6, or not at least sitting. See, like I said, it's a process. So you need to keep motivating every single day. अगर पहले दिन वो 5 minutes के लिए भी बैठा है, that is an achievement. So learn to appreciate that. The next day he will sit for 10 minutes. Okay, so try to set a time, and if your child is a child who asks for thing beforehand, keep telling him since morning that at 6 o'clock we are going to sit. So एक alarm set हो जाता है बच्चे के दिमाग में, and he knows. So if you have set the time at 6, definitely by 6:15, you still 15 minutes you take in your mind. Like I said, you have to have a patient mindset. You set it in your mind that if you have given a 6 o'clock time, your child will sit for studies by 6:15. So you schedule your daily chores accordingly. Okay. So now that you know that by 6:15 you will have to struggle for 15 minutes, that struggle will be easier for you because you've prepared yourself for that. Then once the child has sat, again start with something he likes to do. If he likes to read or listen to stories, all the children, I suppose, of this age really love to listen to stories. So if he loves to listen to stories, start with a story. If he loves to read, or he can, see you reading, so you can start reading and he can listen. Once that has happened, then gradually you say that, abhi ek story suna hai na, now you write these 2 lines, and then I will tell you one more story. And then when he finishes the 2 lines, then you say, oh, I will find the story. 1 second, can you write 2 more lines meanwhile I find the stories? So the child, dheere dheere karke, jaise my mother always says that it is my mother had 4 kids. We were four of us, and she bought all of us so well. And I always keep asking, Mama, I am so, it's so difficult with 2 kids. How did you manage four? So she tells me, see, Samina, it is extremely easy to manage kids when you can tame an animal which is, you can tame a wild animal and make him do as you say, repeat your actions, or do follow your instructions. Why can't you tame your own child? So it is not difficult. It is not the be all end all of life. It is just a persistent hard work that you have to put in to get the child to study. So she always tells me that, give them small treats, give them small treats, like how we tame animals, like when we tell our dog to sit and he sits, and then we give them a treat. And then, when you tell them to stand and then he stands, then the dog understands, okay, if I follow, I will get this. So similarly, keep small treats also for your kids. That also helps a lot, a lot. That if you write these 4 lines, I will give you this. Okay. So make sure that you can use n number of tips that I have given in this session, or you could probably contact me if there still these things are not working. You can contact me. My number is 9821 369 217. And because every child is different, maybe there are different environmental issues or any other issue because of which the child is not able to study even after you applying all of these tips. Okay. So I hope I have answered all your questions, and concentration is something that you have to build with time. So with all these tips and tricks that I've given, if you sit consistently at the same time every single day and do all the things that I have mentioned, or probably customize and take away whatever suits for your child, definitely you will see results. And for the affirmations, join my parents group and try affirmations with the child. Even if the child is too young, affirmations will work. Okay, if you keep on telling the child these affirmations that I'm going to send you on that group every single day, you will see the difference within a week. That is something which I have tried with most of my clients, and it does work. Okay. Meghna Mathur has said, my kid is 6 and he is addicted to TV and doing all tantrums when we try to engage him. I find very less time to be with child these days because of work from home schedules. Right, request you to suggest me some methods to break this habit and do some activities. It's extremely easy, Meghna. What is happening is that in this pandemic, we have to work from home, and the work has just doubled because we have to do housework, office work, and the kids need our attention also. So it will take you only say 45 minutes to 1 hour each day to plan the activities ahead. Okay, it may take you some less time also. What you have to do, okay, what you have to do is browse through YouTube or browse through some activity-based, sites, or ask for help from his teacher if he's going, what's his age? 5. So if he's going for classes, I mean, online classes, and they have these activities. So keep everything scheduled and keep everything ready a day before. See, if you get up in the morning and think that, how can I keep my child busy? That's not going to happen because you are obviously engaged in other activities. So just a night before, you prepare 4 to 5 small activities for your child, which will interest him. And like I said, prepare a schedule. Okay. The moment you prepare this, if you need whatever materials you need, you keep it ready. Make different folders per hour folders. In this hour you're going to do this activity, so put it in that. And initially, try to remove some time to get him used to this new schedule. I know it's going to be difficult, but try to ask for help if you have from other family members. And the moment you decide that okay, this is the time for the first activity, so after breakfast you get the first activity out, get it done. Then give him some time, give him some TV time. Then after that you see there's time for his lunch, then you can give him lunch. After that you can give the second activity, then again he can get some TV time. Like that you can schedule an entire day, and definitely your child will reduce TV time. And regarding the tantrums, see, regarding the tantrums, I have an entire workshop coming up this week actually. So if you guys are interested, like how to deal with tantrums and how to discipline children, and how to reduce this TV time. Okay, I'm already getting the affirmation group in messages. I'll definitely add you guys to the group once I'm done with the session. So, like I was saying is, um, one second, I'm getting too many questions. Yeah, so do send me a message. I will definitely tell you about the workshop in detail, and you can join me in that workshops, and you can definitely find effective ways of how to deal with tantrums because it is extremely easy. There's a very simple technique to deal with tantrums, and you will see the difference in 1 week because I have done a 1 week miracle parenting program. I'm certified in that, and definitely you can see difference in a week. So if your child is throwing tantrums, do attend this workshop that I'm going to be doing. Okay, ma'am, my Poonam has said, Ma'am, my child is 2.3 years, doesn't sit at all. So how can I start with him to make him sit? I have bought Intellikit and wanted to start with him, but he is not ready to see anything. Throwing everything I give him, and if I teach, then also he throws everything. Okay. Poonam, I think you need personal counseling for this because there are a lot of factors that I can see are involved. So please contact a counselor, a psychologist, or you can contact me. And I need to know more about it because just with this information, I cannot give you a simple solution. There definitely is, a lot of factors involved in such kind of behavior. So you definitely can contact any psychologist or you can contact me after the session. Any more questions? See, distractions, like I said, parents, like I said, distraction. There is a little hard work in this, extra work, but it definitely pays off. बिफोर द स्टडी टाइम प्लीज अगर लेगो का इतना छोटा टुकड़ा भी है रूम में प्लीज जस्ट टेक इट अवे फ्रॉम द साइट एनी कलरफुल थिंग्स एनीथिंग दैट यू नो योर चाइल्ड बेस्ट if you think your child is going to get attracted with that, please take it off. And when you set an environment which is calming, which is not very stimulating, then definitely the child will concentrate. And trust me, the same time, sitting at the same time for studies is very important. And even if he's not sitting, even if he's not studying, you sit with him, lock the room and sit with him the same day, the same time every single day. He will get used to it. He will get conditioned that no matter what I do, my mother sits with me at this time, locks the room, sits with me, and my 1 hour is wasted. I can't do anything. I can't play. I can't go out. I can't watch TV. I can't do the phone. So the child will eventually realize, okay, my mother is not going to budge. So he will slowly and gradually start to comply. Slowly and gradually, he will understand that instead of, and keep counseling him, keep telling him, instead of wasting your time like this running around, how much will he run around? How much? He will get tired. He will sit. So probably take a storybook with a lot of pictures, sit with him, show him. And if he's not sitting, let him get tired first. Let him run around, let him get tired. Then once he is tired, he will settle at one place and think that why isn't my mother reacting? What is happening? In normal days, my mother would have just screamed or shouted at me to sit, keep sitting. But here, my mother said, and then he will ask you, send me out, let me go out. But what are you going to say? You're going to say, you have 1 hour of studies. If you want, you can study, and we can learn a lot of this from the this story, and it's going to be an interesting story. But if you don't want to study and become, so and so, you don't want to, be a superhero or whatever story you've given him, then I'm sorry, we'll have to waste this 1 hour and we'll have to sit in the room and do nothing. So instead of doing nothing, why don't we read the story? So convince him, work with his mind, convince him. He definitely or she definitely will comply. It will take some time. It will not happen that on day one. Yeah. And if you want, parents, go through this live session again. There are a lot of tips. You need to understand and internalize, and don't use it all in a single day. Okay. Start with using one or two or maximum three tips and techniques, every single day. Start with affirmations for sure. Affirmations will definitely work. It works a lot for ADHD children also to calm them down because I'm getting a lot of, yeah, because I'm getting a lot of questions about ADHD children. So that also works for ADHD to calm them down. Yeah. You can also follow me on Instagram. I make a lot of videos, mental health related videos, where I share a lot of knowledge, which is to spread awareness about mental health. My Instagram handle is www.instagram.com/Samina Sen, SAMINASEN, Sen. So you can definitely go and check out. There are a lot of videos which will help you also as parents to deal with stress and to understand mental health better. Um, are there any more questions, Suryaja? So if you want to attend the workshop that I'm having, I think I'm going to be having the workshop on 23rd Sunday. I'm not sure. I'll have to ask my team about the date, confirmed date, but on Sunday, probably 23rd, is what I am going to have a parenting workshop on. If you want to join that workshop, then definitely send me a hi on my official number 9821 369 217. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you so much, FirstCry Intelli, for having me here. It was amazing. I had a lot of fun chatting with all you guys and sharing all my knowledge. Thank you so much.